like to just ask the Chinese for a formal apology.
Wait, an apology from China?
This coronavirus originated in China, and I have not heard one word from the Chinese. A simple "I'm sorry."
There's a war of words going on between China and the US since the start of the coronavirus outbreak. A fight to control the narrative, where did the pandemic begin, and who is to blame? And an opportunity to flex superpower muscle. As of April 1st, the US has more than 189,000 coronavirus cases and more than 4,000 deaths, becoming the world's most infected country. Meanwhile, China seems to have been successful in containing the virus, with the WHO representative of the country stating that, quote, "it is an epidemic that has been nipped as it was growing and stopped in its tracks." This is very clear from the data that we have, as well as the observations that we see in society in general. And so you'd think that the two superpowers might lend a hand to each other, join forces and find ways to learn from each other, to save themselves and all of us from this pandemic. But as you probably guessed, that's not what has been happening.
All these different horrible diseases, they seem to come with the name, with the location. And this was the Chinese virus. But I don't have to say it if they feel so strongly about it. We'll see.
And it's not only Donald Trump.
This is the Wuhan coronavirus.
This virus did not originate in the United States. It originated in Wuhan in Hubei province in China. It originated some time ago. Unfortunately, rather than using best practices, this outbreak in Wuhan was covered up.
US officials keep reminding us that coronavirus originated in China and blaming Beijing for covering it up, essentially holding it accountable for what is now a global outbreak. This hasn't sat well in Beijing, that has commented on what it sees as the, quote, immoral and irresponsible response of the US to the pandemic. A foreign ministry spokesman, Li Jinzhao, added fuel to the fire, tweeting that, quote, "it might be the US Army who brought the epidemic to Wuhan. Be transparent. Make public your data. The US owes us an explanation." Now, nearly 250 US athletes were in Wuhan in October last year, alongside athletes from 100 different countries who took part in the World Military Games. Chinese media claimed that the US contingent stayed at the Wuhan Oriental Hotel, 300 meters from the seafood market where it's thought that the outbreak started. 5 of the US troops reportedly developed a fever on October 25th and were taken to an infectious diseases hospital for treatment. 42 employees of the Oriental Hotel were reportedly diagnosed with COVID-19, becoming the first cluster in Wuhan. At the time, China claims only 7 people from the market had been diagnosed and treated before the hotel staff. All 7 had contact with the 42 from the hotel. The reports assert that the American military games team trained near US Army laboratory at Fort Detrick that studies deadly infectious material. Now, the catch-22 of course is that the laboratory was closed by the CDC last July, citing safety concerns. And China questions the US's transparency over the matter. Outside of China, researchers are also investigating the possibility of COVID-19 existing way before the first known case in Wuhan, China. In turn, some US commentators and politicians have their own theories beyond the mainstream idea that it originated in a market in Wuhan. Senator Tom Cotton, a Republican from Arkansas, right-wing radio host and Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient Rush Limbaugh, Steve Bannon, and the New York Post Stephen Mosher have all peddled ideas like the coronavirus being a byproduct of biological warfare, that China cannot be trusted with handling deadly pathogens, and that Beijing is keeping some kind of secret about the origin of the diseases.
We also know that just a few miles away from that food market is China's only biosafety level 4 super laboratory that researches human infectious diseases. Now, we don't have evidence that this disease originated there, but because of China's duplicity and dishonesty from the beginning, we need to at least ask the question to see what the evidence says, and China right now is not giving any evidence on that question at all.
However, this tit-for-tat media war diverts from proven scientific evidence that the disease is new and cannot have been engineered by humans. Rather, that it emerged from wildlife, jumped into humans, and with its current 1 to 3% fatality rate, cannot have been designed as a weapon of biological warfare.